Welcome back, friends. Kalani Kachela, PhD, here this week to talk about my show and your show, Ready to Love, on Oprah Winfrey Network. Instead of talking about anxiety this week, I want to talk about the program in episode 9 called the Getaway Part 2 and give you some of my feedback and my take on what I saw and how we might understand that show and maybe relate it slightly to our experience of anxiety. Remember to click subscribe if this content is good to you, and that will help others discover the channel. Here we go with what I call a sort of a reenactment of the most important scene from the episode. I'm going to be reenacting both Chris and Jessica's conversation when Jessica gives him the news about the women's deliberation with Tommy. Here we go. "You don't show me no respect," that's what Chris said. "You sure?" asked Jessica in a non-anxious voice and a straight face. "I'm a man before I'm anything." She tilted her head to the side, then focused her attention straight at his face in a ready-to-listen posture. "So at what point did you feel disrespected?" "You don't know shit about me," he says forcefully by pointing his finger directly in her face. "So fuck you and fuck everything about you," still pointing his finger directly at her. Excuse my language there, friends, but that's what he was saying behind the beep, and we all know that. Her monologue sealed his fate. "Chris has lost his entire mind," she said. "But if he wants to act like a fool, he wants to scream, holler, and cuss, that's fine. I'm glad that I actually saw the real Chris." And so was I. "I think Jessica is just evil. For her to try to put me down, I just wasn't having it." He gets up and leaves her sitting at the table alone, sipping on her wine. My friends, there's no love on Ready to Love's 8th season, and from my perspective, the season is basically a total bust. And we still have 2 episodes remaining. So far, none of the singles appear equally yoked, and they show it week after week through their exasperation and their fake hope. Yep, I think it's fake, all fake hope. Like earlier seasons, the producers failed time after time to select men that measure up to the women. And I'm a man saying this. Season after season, female contestants show up that are educated, more professional, and more emotionally intelligent. Now, I enjoy watching Ready to Love because it features progressive, apparently not so progressive in some cases, African American men and women in their 30 to 50 plus cohort in a very hopeful light. That is, they're 30 to 50 plus years old. Most of them are ambitious, attractive, often witty, and always fun to watch. In Jessica's response and her observation, the question presents itself: how do you get to see the real person when you're looking for love? Figuring out the answer is a great source of anxiety for many people who are dating. But it can't be done without working through conflict, something that Ready to Love shies away from as they focus on the positive, the beautiful, and often superficial. Throughout the first 8 episodes, Chris showed up as a handsome, hardworking single parent with a rich African ancestry. He had that perfect smile that attracted several women until his patriarchal views began to generate raised eyebrows. When the first stroke of conflict arose, his dark side, which he had kept at bay with apparently little effort, revealed itself like a stubborn blackhead. Now, finding love without navigating one-on-one differences is like demanding that a brick hold up without mortar. It may take shape, but it is bound to fall apart under the slightest pressure. And therein lies the paradox of Ready to Love. How do you portray positive black love while minimizing the anger and despair that overshadows many black men and women's lives? It's hard because the very character traits that keep singles single are the same traits that people must reveal in order to show potential suitors that they're a suitable partner. I imagine that most Ready to Love contestants can't find love, although they claim to be ready for it because they haven't seen the real self that lies inside of themselves. Yep, that's what I think. Anxiety is like that. It can't be dealt with effectively on the context of unreality. The anxious self that lies within you must confront the real source of your anxiety. At a minimum, you must acknowledge that the real person is in the mirror that you're looking at. Unfortunately, very little self-reflection is visible on the screen. Occasionally, a contestant reveals their true inner self. Those persons always get voted off the show. We saw that earlier in this season when one of the contestants a woman asked a man to describe his sexual preferences. And when he did, she basically scorned him and said he was weird and beyond the bounds of a normal sexual relationship. This is from an adult asking another adult a question about an adult topic. So to me, if you try to reveal your real self, you're risking that they're going to basically vote you off pretty quickly. So watching the contestants' interactions, I reflect on how I approached dating when I was their age. And I now understand dating differently. And of course, I understand marriage differently after I've been married before and divorced and remarried. Like the contestants, I was ready for love by age 30. But unlike the contestants, I was serious and married my first wife after a short courtship. According to my divorce attorney, the marriage was, quote, short. Looking back at it, it was apparent that we knew nothing about managing conflict nor commitment. Now that I'm in a working and loving marriage, I watch the Ready to Love contestants with a lot of compassion, but also with the awareness of how they can't get out of their own way. The irony of Ready for Love, like other reality series, I imagine, is how much we fans cheer on the contestants as if they're carrying on in real life. But it's not real. Reality TV is about escapism, and the producers promise a departure from conformity and the norms of relationship building. Unfortunately, no matter how ready for love people are, they can't get love when the medium prevents them from seeing the real person. And in this case, being on reality TV prevents people from seeing the real person in front of them and sometimes the real person inside of them. All right. That's my take on that episode. I invite you to go back and watch it again and give me your take on it. Leave some comments below about how you felt about Jessica and Chris's conversation. And please hit subscribe. Help others discover this channel. Out of here.